In 2012, the FBI shut down one of the biggest websites on Earth, and its owner claimed he was fighting for internet freedom. Before Netflix ruled entertainment, one man built a website so powerful it controlled 4% of the entire internet. Then the FBI came for him. He was called a hacker genius, a piracy kingpin, and the most dangerous man on the internet. This is the story of Kim Dotcom. One website, 50 million users a day, a global FBI raid, and a battle that changed the internet forever. The internet made Kim Dotcom a millionaire. Then governments across the world tried to destroy him. He built an empire that Hollywood feared, governments targeted, and millions of users depended on. Before cloud storage became normal, one man created a digital empire so massive the US government launched an international manhunt to stop him. What happens when one internet entrepreneur becomes powerful enough to threaten billion-dollar industries? Kim Dotcom didn't just challenge Hollywood, he challenged the entire system controlling the internet. This wasn't just a piracy case, it was the beginning of a global war over who controls the internet. The war for the internet did not begin with social media influencers, streaming services, or Silicon Valley billionaires. It began much earlier, during a chaotic and unpredictable era when the internet was transforming from a small technological experiment into the most powerful communication system humanity had ever created. Governments did not fully understand it. Corporations underestimated it. Media industries feared it. And millions of ordinary people were only beginning to realize how dramatically it would reshape the world around them. The internet was not just changing technology, it was changing power itself. For the first time in modern history, information could move across borders instantly, without needing permission from governments, television networks, newspaper publishers, or giant corporations. A teenager with a computer suddenly had access to tools and influence that previously belonged only to institutions worth billions of dollars. Entire industries built over decades began losing control almost overnight, and standing directly in the middle of that transformation was one of the most controversial figures the internet would ever produce, Kim Dotcom. To his supporters, Kim Dotcom was a visionary far ahead of his time, a hacker genius who understood the future before governments and corporations did. They saw him as an internet freedom fighter who challenged powerful media monopolies trying to control digital information and entertainment. To them, Kim represented rebellion against outdated systems built to protect corporate profit over public access. But to his critics, Kim Dotcom was something entirely different. They viewed him as a manipulative opportunist who hid behind the language of freedom while building a fortune through piracy and copyright theft. In their eyes, he was not a revolutionary. He was a criminal mastermind who understood how to exploit the chaos of the early internet for personal gain. Yet regardless of where people stood, one reality became impossible to deny over time. Kim Dotcom changed the internet forever. Long before the FBI raids, before Megaupload became one of the largest websites on Earth, and before his name became associated with one of the biggest anti-piracy crackdowns in history, he was simply Kim Schmitz, a young boy growing up in Kiel, Germany. His childhood was unstable and troubled. Like many people who later become deeply consumed by technology, Kim found escape in computers. During the late 1980s and early 1990s, personal computing was still in its infancy. The internet was not yet a polished commercial product filled with social media platforms and billion-dollar apps. It was chaotic, experimental, and largely underground. Most parents barely understood what computers could do. Most governments barely understood the internet existed. But young hackers already understood its potential. A global underground culture of programmers, hackers, and digital explorers was quietly emerging online. These communities operated through bulletin board systems, early networks, pirate software exchanges, and hidden online forums. To outsiders, hackers often looked like criminals or rebellious misfits. But within those circles, hacking represented something much larger: curiosity, freedom, intelligence, and the ability to bypass systems designed by governments and corporations. Kim became obsessed with that world. He spent countless hours learning how computer systems functioned, how networks communicated, and how digital security could be bypassed. By his teenage years, he was already deeply involved in underground hacking culture and operating servers connected to software piracy communities. Illegal copies of programs, games, and applications moved through those networks long before streaming or cloud technology existed. But Kim was not satisfied with being anonymous. Inspired by the television series The Fugitive, he adopted the nickname Kimball and began constructing an entirely new identity around himself. He wanted to become more than a hacker. He wanted to become a legend. From the beginning, Kim understood something most people completely missed about the internet. Attention itself was power. The digital world rewarded visibility. Reputation could spread globally overnight. A carefully crafted image could become more influential than reality itself. Long before influencers and personal branding became normal, Kim was already turning himself into a larger-than-life internet character. German media quickly became fascinated with him. Television appearances introduced him to mainstream audiences after he demonstrated methods for bypassing bypassing international phone charges and exploiting weaknesses in communication systems. He spoke confidently, acted fearlessly, and presented himself as a rebellious digital outlaw challenging powerful systems. At the same time, Kim made increasingly dramatic claims about hacking major organizations, including Citibank, NASA, and even the Pentagon. Some cybersecurity experts later questioned whether many of those claims were exaggerated or partially fabricated. But by then, it almost didn't matter, because the myth was already working. Kim Schmitz was transforming himself into Kim Dotcom long before he officially changed his name. As the 1990s progressed, the internet economy exploded during the dot-com boom. Investors poured billions into technology startups. Suddenly, young internet entrepreneurs became celebrities and millionaires almost overnight. Kim saw opportunity everywhere. He launched cybersecurity businesses, invested in technology ventures, and aggressively marketed himself as a self-made internet millionaire. At the same time, he carefully cultivated a public image built around excess and spectacle. Luxury sports cars, massive mansions, private helicopters, expensive watches, yachts, extravagant parties. Everything about Kim's public persona seemed intentionally larger than life. He understood that controversy generated attention, and attention generated influence. While other entrepreneurs tried to appear polished and professional, Kim embraced the image of a rebellious outsider who refused to follow traditional rules. But behind the flashy lifestyle, legal problems continued following him. German authorities investigated multiple business activities connected to Kim, eventually leading to convictions involving insider trading and financial fraud. Some ventures collapsed financially, others operated dangerously close to legal boundaries. Yet every controversy seemed to reinforce Kim's worldview that governments and traditional systems were outdated relics unable to keep up with the digital age. Eventually, looking for greater freedom and larger opportunities, Kim moved to Hong Kong. That decision would change everything, because in Hong Kong, Kim began building the project that would ultimately place him at the center of one of the most important battles in internet history: Megaupload. When Megaupload launched in 2005, it initially looked like a simple file hosting website. Users could upload files to online servers and share them through direct download links. Today, cloud storage is completely normal. Services like Google Drive, Dropbox, and OneDrive dominate everyday life. But in 2005, the idea was revolutionary. Internet speeds were rapidly improving around the world. Digital media was exploding in popularity. Millions of people wanted easier ways to access movies, music, games, software, and entertainment online. Yet legal distribution systems remained slow, expensive, and restricted by geography. Megaupload solved that problem instantly. Users could upload enormous files and share them globally within seconds. Movies could spread across continents overnight. Music albums could reach millions of users without record labels. Television shows, software, documents, and games flowed freely through the platform. The growth was explosive. Within only a few years, Megaupload became one of the largest websites on Earth. Reports estimated it attracted around 50 million daily users and accounted for approximately 4% of global internet traffic at its peak. For ordinary users, Megaupload represented convenience, accessibility, and freedom. For Hollywood studios and media corporations, it represented a nightmare. The entertainment industry was already struggling to survive the digital revolution. Napster had already shaken the music industry years earlier. Piracy was spreading faster than governments could regulate it. Traditional media companies feared losing control over distribution entirely. And now Megaupload had become one of the internet's biggest platforms. Executives inside Hollywood studios and record labels viewed the site as a global piracy machine responsible for massive financial losses. Movies appeared online before theatrical releases. Entire music catalogs spread freely across the world. Software companies watched illegal copies circulate instantly through Megaupload links. To media corporations, Kim Dotcom became the face of everything they feared about the internet, and Kim embraced that role completely. Rather than avoiding controversy, he openly challenged major entertainment companies. He portrayed himself as a defender of internet freedom, fighting against corporate monopolies attempting to control information and digital culture. To his supporters, Kim became a symbol of resistance. To his enemies, he became public enemy number one. Behind the scenes, international investigations against Megaupload intensified for years. Governments cooperated with media companies while investigators collected evidence, analyzed company communications, tracked financial transactions, and monitored user activity. Then came January 20th, 2012, the day the internet war exploded into public view. In one of the most dramatic technology-related raids ever conducted, heavily armed New Zealand police officers stormed Kim Dotcom's mansion near Auckland during a massive FBI-led international operation. Helicopters circled overhead while officers entered the estate searching for Kim and his associates. The images shocked the world. Luxury cars lined the property. Servers and hard drives were seized. Millions of dollars in assets were frozen. Reports reports described hidden panic rooms, expensive art collections, and massive amounts of digital equipment. The operation looked less like a copyright case and more like the arrest of an international crime lord. At the exact same time, Megaupload disappeared from the internet. One of the world's largest websites vanished almost instantly. Millions of users suddenly lost access to personal files, videos, software, documents, and media stored on the platform. Across the globe, internet users realized how quickly governments could erase even massive digital platforms when enough power was applied. U.S. prosecutors accused Kim Dotcom and his associates of operating a criminal conspiracy involving copyright infringement, money laundering, racketeering, and online piracy. Authorities claimed Megaupload had generated hundreds of millions of dollars by knowingly encouraging users to upload copyrighted content. Kim denied everything. His defense argued that Megaupload functioned no differently than modern cloud storage or content hosting services. According to Kim, users, not the platform itself, were responsible for illegal uploads. He claimed governments were criminalizing technology in order to protect outdated entertainment corporations unable to adapt to the digital world. The legal battle that followed would continue for more than a decade, but by then, the story had already become much larger than one man, because the Kim Dotcom case exposed a conflict that still defines the modern internet today. Who controls digital information? Should governments and corporations decide how information moves online? Should entertainment companies maintain control over distribution forever? Or should the internet remain open, decentralized, and impossible to fully control? Those questions remain unresolved even now. Meanwhile, the world slowly evolved toward the future Megaupload had predicted. Streaming eventually replaced physical media. Cloud storage became normal. Digital distribution became dominant. The entertainment industry adapted to the internet instead of fighting against it. Ironically, many concepts once considered dangerous during the Megaupload era eventually became foundations of modern technology companies worth billions of dollars. Yet the larger battle never truly ended. Governments still struggle to regulate digital platforms. Corporations still fight for control over online content. Questions about piracy, free speech, digital ownership, and internet freedom continue shaping global politics and technology. In 2024, after more than a decade of court battles and appeals, New Zealand officially approved Kim Dotcom's extradition to the United States. But by then, Kim Dotcom had already become something much larger than a defendant in a legal case. He had become a symbol of the internet age itself, a symbol of how technology shattered traditional systems faster than society could adapt, a symbol of how one individual with servers, ambition, and influence could challenge billion-dollar industries, and a symbol of the ongoing war between centralized power and the open internet. Love him or hate him, Kim Dotcom forced the world to confront a truth that could no longer be ignored. The internet had changed everything. Information could no longer be fully controlled. Entertainment could no longer be contained by borders, and power itself was no longer limited to governments and corporations alone. The old world fought back, but the digital revolution had already begun, and there was no turning back.